All right, so let's talk about this question right here. This is stemming from a video that I had just done, and it was talking about defeating Jezebel and basically talking about how it ties into narcissism. And so this person wanted to know, how does this spirit, or not how, but why is this spirit so strong all of a sudden? First and foremost, this spirit has always been strong. This is not something where this spirit just got strong this year, last year, the year before. This is a spirit that is strong because it is demons, all right? It's demon worship, all right? And so I kind of wanted to just give you a little background on who Jezebel is. Jezebel's father name is Ithbel, all right? AKA Baal, which is what a lot of people know, in the Bible about, which is Baal. And because Baal, he was also a Canaanite, a Phoenician god of fertility, rain, and storms, okay? One thing I want to point out about this as well is that Baal's name means Lord, all right? And so when it comes to this is a demon god that people would worship. One of the things that God wanted me to mention about Baal was Baal requires a lot of sacrifice. And he brings me to 1 Kings 18:28, and it says, so they shouted louder, and following their normal customs, they cut themselves with knives and swords until blood gushed out. And this is referring to when they were trying to, basically, they wanted their sacrifice to be caught on fire, but they wasn't allowed to do it themselves. They, meaning the prophets of Jezebel. And so because of that, they begin to cut themselves. They're walking around their sacrifice. They're asking Baal to basically bring this fire. Now, we all know that didn't happen. So you may ask yourself, well, how did Jezebel even become a factor into this, right? Which goes back to the original question. And so one of the things that I have written down here that I wanted to talk about is that when it comes to Jezebel, she married Ahab, okay? And by marrying him, it was more so as a peace treaty because it was a rivalry between two nations. And which, let's just be honest, when Ahab married Jezebel, he became accustomed to her demon gods, all right? Which is two demon gods that she had, that she was brought up around. One of them being Baal, okay? And the other one is being Ashtaroth, all right? So I want to break these two down. All right, Baal was a nature god and the god of Tyre. All right, hopefully I pronounced that right. The second one was the Ashtaroth, which is a goddess of fertility. All right, and so now let's get back to Jezebel. So when she married him, like I said before, there was a rivalry between two nations, but ended up being very costly. And the very costly part is because what did Ahab do? He began to build temples. He began to serve her God. They basically began to turn his ways of worshiping our God, Heavenly Father, to worshiping her gods. And guess what? God was mad. He was angry. And even time and time again, he would send prophets. He would tell them, hey, y'all need to stop worshiping these gods because they are demon gods, okay? These have nothing to do with me. He was trying to warn them, but unfortunately, they kept on serving these demon gods. And because of that, they brought a lot of destruction on themselves. And so, also when it comes to this Jezebel spirit is strong because of the background of Jezebel. Not just the background of Jezebel, but Jezebel comes with a lot of characteristics. When you read about Jezebel, you see so many different things. And I have written a lot of these characteristics of Jezebel down. One of them is they refuse to admit guilt or doing wrong. And this ties into narcissism. This is why when a person is going through narcissism, the spirit of Jezebel is extremely high. Think about it. Let's think about the Naboth in the vineyard. Okay, Ahab wanted this vineyard, but what happened? Jezebel got involved, and basically Naboth died. Why? Because Naboth was like, no, I'm not giving up this vineyard. Told Ahab no, because it was in his family's bloodline. That was his inheritance. And because of that, Ahab went home. He sobbed. Jezebel saw it. Boom. She's like, I'm going to get this vineyard for you. And she did. Okay. Through the death of Naboth. And so even with that story alone, it refuses to admit guilt or wrongdoing. If they want it, they're going to do it. Okay. And that's coming from this spirit of Jezebel. It takes credit for everything that good that happens. Okay. Now, when the bad things happen, they don't want no part of that. All right. And so that's a characteristic of this Jezebel spirit. Next thing is they use people to accomplish its agenda. And I want to go back to how when they was on the Naboth story, what did she do? She gathered some people around, okay, and she had these people to accuse Naboth of doing some things. And what happened? He was stoned, right? because of her plan or her plot. So she used people to do her dirty work, which is the same thing that narcissistic people do that's carrying this Jezebel spirit. They use people to carry out their bad agenda. So the next one is talks in confusion, volunteers to help for anything. This spirit will cause a person to lie. This spirit ignores people, which goes to the silent treatment. This spirit criticizes everyone on everything. You can have on the most nicest outfit, hair done, nails done, whatever, you know, haircut, and they're going to find something wrong with you. They're going to say you should have did it this way. You should have did it that way. It's going to be something wrong. This spirit also uses information to establish a control. This is now stemming from that Delilah spirit. Think about Delilah. Even though we're talking about Jezebel, Delilah also did this. She gathered a lot of information from Samson, and then what happened? His hair got cut off, his strength left, and his ministry got cut short. Jezebel also is a person who will use things against you. So if you tell it something, meaning talking to the person that has these spirits, you talking to them, they gathered all this information, monitoring spirit. Now you're being monitored. This is also someone who sows seeds of discord, okay? When it comes to this Jezebel spirit, there's going to be a lot of confusion, a lot of delay, a lot of manipulation, a lot of controls, a lot of lies, a lot of deceit. It's going to be all stemmed around Jezebel, okay? And so also another thing that I wanted to point out in here is that it's a religious spirit. When you think about how Jezebel came in with Ahab, she turned him away from the person who he was serving, which was God, to worship her demon gods. And because of that, it turned him away from serving God. Just think about it. Narcissistic people, they do that pretty well. The thing that they're into, or the addiction that they have, the temptations that they have, they try to put it off on you. And now they're trying to get you to worship the very thing that they're doing. This happens in narcissism all the time. The next thing is this Jezebel spirit is very big on, for instance, if they see you as a benefit, they're going to go above and beyond to make themselves seen by you. They're going to make themselves known by you. They're going to try to get on your good side because you simply have something that they want. Now, think about Ahab. Ahab had a kingdom, okay? He had a kingdom. He was in charge. He was ruling. So she used all of her magic, all of her things that she basically was raised up off of. Now she's implementing it in the kingdom of Ahab, okay? So now she's calling the shots. She's doing certain things. She's making things happen. This is all stemming from the spirit of control, all right? And which is, some of y'all are dealing with the spirit of control. This spirit also commands attention and is very vengeful, okay? Listen, this spirit here, you tell this spirit no, whatever you do, guess what? They're gonna say something to you. There's something that they're gonna come across you with, all right? They're gonna find it on you. They're gonna put you out on blast. They're gonna turn people away from you, family, friends, all kind of people. We see this happen all in the Bible when it came to the spirit Jezebel. And so people are wondering, why is this spirit so heavy? Why is this spirit so so strong? And it all boils down to her lineage. It all boils down to where she came from, okay? And because she was brought up with two deities, okay, what happens with that is witchcraft, okay? It's demons. And so these demons had control over her, and now we have people who are baby Jezebels, meaning they're doing the same things that she did. They're acting the same way that she acts. They have certain conditions and things that they run up under, and it's all stemming from the spirit of Jezebel. I want to ask you one thing. I want to tell you one thing. Do a heart check, because when you check your heart, you can get rid of this spirit yourself, all right? Prayer, fasting, and deliverance. Be blessed.